Seated on my right, representing the affirmative side are June, Harold, Sophia, Monica, and Christine. Seated on my left, representing the negative side are Felix, Kathy, Johnny, and Julie. First speaker of the affirmative side, please begin.
Hello, my name is Monica and I'm the first speaker of the affirmative side. I will go ahead and introduce briefly about how radioactivity can contribute to the betterment of the economy. First of all, nuclear energy is better for developing economy because it's cheaper than other energy sources. As you can see the map here, many developing countries use nuclear energy as their primary energy source. Second of all, the global interest about nuclear energy is increasing tremendously. As you can see the road map here, numerous black dots indicate the number of nuclear power plants, which means nuclear energy has been and will be used widely around the world.
Not only does the popularity support the importance of nuclear energy, but also with nuclear energy, we don't have to buy expensive fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are very expensive because it takes very long time for scientists to extract fuels from ancient fossils. In addition, extracting energy from fossil fuels is a very burdensome task. Therefore, it will be a lot more advantageous for our economy and environment to use radiation instead. In addition, radioactivity helps the nature of electricity. According to a law called Eureka, we need 1 million kilowatts of energy, 1.5 million tons of oil, and 1.1 million tons of coal each year. But when you use radioactivity, we only need 0.3 million tons of radioactivity. Thus, nuclear energy is more efficient than coal and oil.
As a result, there is nothing better than nuclear energy as the energy source, because using radioactivity is cleaner and cheaper than using coal or fossil fuels. This means that people should not have to worry too much about paying electricity bill, air pollution which continuously threatens our health, and people can finally be free from all those worries that come from the energy. People view nuclear energy very negatively because some media often portrays nuclear energy as being very dangerous and toxic, but I definitely disagree. Radioactivity is more than toxic substance that destroys or threatens humanity. Radioactivity definitely can change the world if used in appropriate ways.
I definitely agree with Christine's statement. Expensive electricity bills are threatening many people around the world, especially during winter. However, as you can see in this chart, nuclear energy's price is very steady. You can see that the prices of oil, gas, and coal have increased tremendously compared to 1995. Steadiness in price is definitely one of the biggest advantages of nuclear energy. In addition, if we use radioactivity as our main energy source, we no longer have to depend on fossil fuel. As you can see in this map, many cities in France are relying on nuclear energy rather than other resources. In fact, France is one of the most advanced countries that have started this innovative solution.
If radioactivity advantage were all about prices and money, I would have supported the other side. However, radiation in fact give numerous benefits for the medical field. First of all, the X-ray. X-ray help us in many ways, such as scanning our bone and body in detail. It helps doctors to find out where exactly the pain comes from. Since doctors find the cause very quickly, the patient can be cured in a faster and convenient way. Next, the radioisotope. According to my research, over 10,000 hospitals worldwide use them in medicine, and about 90% of the procedures are for diagnosis. The most common radioisotope used in diagnosis is technetium-99 with 40 million procedures per year, accounting of all nuclear medicine procedures worldwide.
Thank you, affirmative, for telling us all the benefits of radiation. However, according to the negative research, the case is not the same. Let me explain the impact of radiation on human health. First of all, it damages people's lives. Once the radiation is exposed, people can no longer live in that area. People lose hope, shelter, and even family members due to radiation. If you look at this picture, radiation's effect on people's body is tragic. Radiation can trigger cataracts, spots later in human eyes, damage human lungs when breathed in, cause redness and burning on human skins, and lastly, it can produce red and white blood cells that leads to leukemia and other immune system diseases. As you can see in the picture, the effects are destructive.
In addition, the presence of radiation can never guarantee people's safety. Yes, we do have many safety issues. Radiation hurts humanity and the Earth. For example, we have the 3 Mile Island incident, the Fukushima incident, and the Chernobyl incident. These incidents were so tragic that they not only killed millions of people, but destroyed millions of acres of land and nature. Due to the Chernobyl incident, Ukraine has a red forest, and this place is still foreign to enter because of radioactivity. The sad part is that it has been told that it may still be uninhabitable for 100,000 years. Really? Is that the war we want? Think about it.
How about the nuclear waste? Can we ever dispose them properly? How do we get rid of all the radiation we use for various purposes? According to my research, the human nature still has not found the proper way to dispose radiation properly. We either put those uraniums in the ground or those waste get thrown out into the ocean and sea. Then what will happen to our sea animals? Obviously, if the weight of radiation uses increases, the sea life will get destroyed and our ecosystem will be greatly affected. Radiation causes many problems that destroy nature. It hurts me to see how people on Earth die because of such toxic chemical. We must save the Earth by not using radioactivity.
Are we finished? I don't think so. There are still many more negative effects of radioactivity. First of all, it creates dirty bombs. Those bombs kill more than billions of people during human history. Nuclear weaponry causes countries to spend much money on creating nuclear weapons, and this creates conflicts between major world powers. Thus, people are often threatened about wars, and this creates fear and anxiousness amongst innocent citizens. People are not only threatened physically, but also mentally. Radiation may have many positive sides, but I believe that negative effects definitely outnumbers the positives, because the negative effects can annihilate the nature and humanity.
All right, thank you so much for introduction. As the final statement, on behalf of the KAIS House, I would like to pause the debate and come back for the real debate discussion. The introductory session of the debate is now concluded. Welcome back to our debate session. I hope you guys are doing fine out there. Are you guys okay? Yes? Yes? Alright, I hope so. I hope you guys are doing well up there. Alright? Let's have party after this, okay? Yeah. Smile. Smile. Alright, let us begin. We'll now continue with our real debate session. The first speaker of the affirmative, you may begin with your assertion.
Let me first explain the importance of nuclear energy and its application. Nuclear energy is energy released by nucleus of an atom as the result of nuclear fission, or radioactive decay. Now, Jun is going to explain the main function of nuclear energy.
Thank you, Monica. The main function of nuclear energy is to power a turbine to create electricity. Much like in coal, oil, and natural gas, a nuclear power plant works by heating water until it turns into steam in order to power a turbine. Where they differ is how this is achieved.
The process is very simple. Small pieces of uranium are brought together until they form a critical mass. Then, two pieces collide and the heat and neutrons are released. As a result, there is more neutrons and heat are released.
Adding, when the nuclear reactors are submerged underwater, the release heats water to a boil. Then, the steam given off is used to power a turbine, which creates electricity. As you can see the chart here, there's a whole circulation going on in order, which creates electricity using nuclear energy.
Objection! That's why radioactivity should be banned because that process is very dangerous.
Do you really think that nuclear energy and nuclear waste are dangerous?
Yes, being exposed to the radiation given off by nuclear waste can cause a plethora of health problems. These problems range from lethal cancer to birth defects in the children of those who have been exposed.
Adding, nuclear waste is extremely lethal and its brutal effects apply to animals and plants as well. This is why nuclear waste needs to be disposed of to where it's not harmful to humans, plants, or animals.
Objection. Don't worry too much because of its harmful effects because we can just throw the waste out. I don't think that's a big problem.
Objection! The current ways of disposing nuclear waste are not that harmful for our lives. Although there are a couple of ways to dispose of nuclear waste, they are not really beneficial.
For instance, for low-level radioactive waste such as liquid and gases, dilution and dispersion are used. For high-level solid waste with long half-lives, concentration and containment are used.
Objection. You can say that nuclear energy is dangerous just because its waste is not being disposed in the right way. We'll find something in the future.
No way, there are so many historical incidents that show how dangerous nuclear energy is. There is the 3 Mile Island, Pennsylvania in 1979, the Chernobyl incident in 1986, and the Fukushima incident in 2011. Doesn't this tell you something?
Adding, during the Ohio incident in Pennsylvania, a cooling malfunction caused the part of the core of the second nuclear reactor to melt down. As a result, the core suffered major damage and the heat was not removed to the reactor core.
Objection. There were no injuries or deaths due to the 3 Mile Island accident. Some gases were released into the air, and in the days following, following the meltdown, however, no health effects were reported as a result of the incident.
Objection! That doesn't mean that nuclear energy is not harmful. Look at Chernobyl and Fukushima incidents. These incidents kill many people.
Adding to Julie, Chernobyl is considered to be the worst nuclear disaster in history. All of the land surrounding the power plant was closed due to the radioactivity, which was extremely dangerous. Although the casualties were fairly few, many deformities and serious health problems such as cancer were reported. Over the Chernobyl incident was deadly, but I cannot over the Fukushima incident shows the perils of using nuclear energy. Fukushima incident was occurred because of major earthquake. Nothing can survive natural disasters.
Exactly. I'm adding to Sophia. We cannot say Fukushima incident happened because of nuclear energy. On March 11, 2011, due to a major earthquake which caused a 50-meter tall tsunami, the power supply and cooling system of 3 nuclear reactors were disabled, resulting in a nuclear accident.
Therefore, all 3 cores are severely damaged and melted within the first 3 days of the accident. Thankfully, there was no death because of the accident, and no radioactive diseases have been reported.
However, over 100,000 people had to be removed from their homes to keep people from being harmed by radioactive materials. I call this a danger.
Moving on to radiation. Radiation is the transfer of energy in the form of electromagnetic waves. It is a form of energy derived from atoms and molecules. There are 2 main types of radiation, ionizing and non-ionizing radiation.
Adding, ionizing radiation can be split into even smaller subgroups based on power. Alpha radiation is less powerful, beta radiation is more powerful, gamma rays are the powerful out of the 3. X-rays are another form of ionized rays used things such as scanning for a broken bone and checking teeth at the dentist.
That's why when in radiation, we need to be able to check our bones and teeth in case of emergency.
Question, can you explain what are isotopes and some examples of radioactive isotopes?
An isotope is an atom that has the same number of protons as other atoms of the same element do, but with a different number of protons. We have cobalt-60, iodine-131, and carbon-14 as the famous type of radioactive isotopes.
Question, how can radioactivity be used? Why do we need it?
Well, we can use radioactivity for radioactive dating. We can also use and produce them in nuclear reactors, and radioactivity removes germs and bacteria for food. Lastly, radioactivity can be used for security devices. Question, can radioactivity be used in other ways?
Yes, of course, radioactivity is used for search for broken bones and fractures. Also, it's used for cancer treatment and to diagnose clinical conditions in patients.
Now that we know what radiation is all about, let us talk about some pros and cons of radiation.
Radiation is good because fewer greenhouse gases are released into the air as opposed to another form of power generation.
Adding, radiation has a low cost of operation.
Also, large radioactive energy produces capacity enough to meet industrial demands.
However, there are also many cons of radioactivity. Because of radiation, there is a high risk in the event of an accident. Also, the waste lasts for 200 to 500,000 years.
Those wastes are usually highly radioactive waste, and radioactivity is a target for terrorism. The construction time is too long, and the construction cost is too high for us to avoid.
In addition, there are several unknown risks that we can't even count. Each reactor produces 20 to 30 tons of radioactive waste annually, and lastly, disposing of waste is very difficult. I'm not done yet. Nuclear energy can also be used for war.
Think about it. If nuclear energy is used for the war, what do you think would happen to the people? It's tragic.
As you can see these pictures here, there are many deformed babies in the radiation-affected areas because of nuclear energy. Using nuclear energy must stop.
Let us now look at radioactive dating. What is radioactive dating?
It is the measurement of the amount of radioactive material that an object contains. It can be used to measure the age of an object. That's why it's helpful.
Question: what is the half-life?
It is the time required for half of the sample of the radioactive substance to undergo radioactive decay.
Do you want to know why we are talking about radioactive dating? Radioactive dating, also known as the carbon dating, is used to determine the age of the organism from the past.
Adding, it uses the radioactive isotope carbon-14 to tell the age of carbon-containing organism or life form.
Therefore, carbon dating is a common form of radioactive dating and can estimate the approximate age of substance up to tens of thousands of years old. Isn't this amazing?
But the process of carbon dating takes too much time. I understand that it may be very useful, but it's not really reliable because it's a slow process.
I agree with Johnny's statement. Carbon dating begins from its formation and is taken in by plant eaters, and eaters of the plant eaters. I mean, these processes do sound natural, but what about the time they take? Exactly, those processes take up too much time. That means we just have to sit and wait until this process occurs. Is this possible?
Sure it is. The evolution of organisms comes from predators and prey, which means that we all eat something and others eat us. This is a natural process. We can surely wait for these processes. Carbon dating must be present to develop the science. Nuclear energy and carbon dating should not be banned.
Adding, during the final stage of carbon dating, the death of the final eater stops the intake of carbon-14, and scientists can determine the age by extracting carbon-14 from its body. This is not difficult. It's very simple as it is. Therefore, we should not ban carbon dating for various purposes.
Objection. I understand that radioactive dating is very useful, but I think if we compare the pros and cons of nuclear energy in general, there are more cons that affect the human nature and environment. Too many of innocent lives suffered, and if the usage of nuclear energy continues, the tragedy will never stop. Therefore, I believe nuclear energy must be banned.
I definitely agree with Felix's assertion. For the past, the human nature has suffered tremendously because of nuclear energy. In addition, we are still in fear because we never know when the nuclear attack would destroy our nation. Thus, I believe that nuclear energy must be banned.
Objection. No, we couldn't have come this far if there were no nuclear energy radiation. Think about their advantages before you say that. The human nature has developed so much because of the presence of nuclear energy. Therefore, you should never ever ban the nuclear energy.
Precisely, there would be no current human nature without nuclear energy and its help. We would have suffered so much if there is no nuclear medicine and X-ray. I don't even want to think of my life without those commodities. I'm so thankful to have those while I'm alive.
Absolutely. I understand how tragic accidents have put so many people and nature in pain. However, past is past. We must look forward to future and try to figure something out for betterment of our organism in Earth. The only solution is promoting the usage of nuclear energy that will make us flourish.
I disagree. We don't even have one single effective way to dispose nuclear waste right. Unless we so many problems out there that are caused by nuclear energy usage, it'll do nothing but harm us. That's why nuclear energy should be banned. nuclear energy and radioactivity should be banned from our nature for the betterment of the earth.
Thank you everyone for participating in this debate, and thank you very much all of you for watching this debate. It took us about 2 months to prepare this huge debate project. Going back to the topic, radioactivity has been a very debatable issue since the creation, and I'm sure that everybody here was able to learn so much about the radioactivity. As a final statement on behalf of the Kai's House, I would like to declare the conclusion of this debate. This debate